Cars kill over 1 million people every single year. Snakes kill about 100,000. Spiders kill fewer than 100, but show most people a spider crossing the floor and they will scream, jump, or run. Show them a car and they will get inside it, put their children inside it, and drive 70 miles an hour without a second thought. The math makes no sense. Your brain does not care about the math. So what is actually happening? To understand it, we have to go back. Not a few thousand years, not even to the first humans. We have to go back 60 million years, to a time before there were any humans to be afraid of anything at all. Your earliest ancestors were small. They were tree-dwelling primates about the size of a squirrel, and their world was full of one very specific, very patient predator. Snakes, not lions, not wolves. Snakes were already ancient by the time most mammals existed, and for tens of millions of years, they were one of the only predators small enough to fit into a tree and quiet enough to wait there without ever being seen. A biologist named Isbell spent decades studying primate eyesight, and she noticed something strange. Primates have unusually good color vision, unusually good depth perception, and a visual system wired directly into the fear centers of the brain. Most mammals do not have this. Isbell's theory is simple and unsettling. Your eyes did not evolve to admire sunsets or read books. They evolved to find a snake hidden in the leaves before the snake found you first. And here is where it gets stranger. This is not something you learn as a child. A researcher named Vanessa Lobu ran an experiment with toddlers, some as young as 3, sitting in front of a screen full of images. Flowers, frogs, caterpillars, and one single photograph of a snake hidden among them. Over and over, the children found the snake faster than anything else on the screen. Faster than a frog, faster than a caterpillar shaped almost exactly like it. Nobody taught them what a snake was supposed to look like. Their eyes already knew where to look. But if the fear is built in, there should be an easy way to prove it. Raise an animal with zero exposure to snakes, and it should be terrified the very first time it sees one. 2 psychologists, Susan Minecka and Arne Ullman, tested exactly that, and the result was not what anyone expected. They took rhesus monkeys that had been raised in laboratories, monkeys who had never once seen a real snake in their entire lives, and showed them one. Nothing happened. No fear, no flinch. They reached toward it. They played near it. The instinct, if it was ever there at all, was completely silent. So the fear is not automatic. But watch what happens next. The researchers showed those same lab-raised monkeys a video of another monkey recoiling in terror from a snake. A single viewing. That was all it took. Within minutes, the lab monkeys were terrified of snakes too, and the fear did not fade. Months later, it was still there, just as strong as the first day. Now here is the detail that changes everything. The researchers ran the exact same experiment again, but spliced the footage differently. This time, the monkey on screen reacted with the same terrified scream and the same frantic recoil, but instead of a snake, the object on screen was a flower, or a rabbit. The lab monkeys watched it happen, and nothing took hold. Not that day, not months later. The fear was never just sitting there waiting to be triggered by anything at all. It was sitting there waiting for one specific category of thing. Snakes, spiders, the old dangers. You cannot install that same fear for a flower, no matter how convincingly you fake the terror around it. Evolution left a door unlocked for a small handful of ancient threats, and almost nothing else gets to walk through it. This is called prepared learning. And it explains something that should feel personal right now. You do not need to be bitten by a spider to be afraid of one for the rest of your life. You do not even need to see a real spider. A single photograph, a single scream from someone standing next to you can be enough to install a fear that never leaves. Try that with a stapler, it will not work. Try it with a wasp, it works almost instantly. Spiders tell a similar story, but not quite the same one. A psychologist named Joshua New, working with Tamsin German, tested how quickly people could spot a spider hidden in a photograph compared to other small objects the exact same size and color. People found the spider faster every single time, faster even than people who had never been bitten by anything in their lives, and faster than people from places where the local spiders could not hurt them at all. New and German's explanation reaches back even further than snakes. Long before snakes became the dominant threat in this story, primates spent millions of years living alongside venomous, ground-dwelling spiders and scorpions. Two separate ancient dangers. Each one may have carved its own separate wiring into the same brain, running quietly in parallel, long before either species had a name for the other. You did not learn to fear the shape in the grass. You did not learn to fear the shadow moving in the leaves. You did not need to. And your body does not wait for permission to react. There is a pathway running from your eyes straight to your amygdala, the almond-shaped structure that controls fear, bypassing the part of your brain responsible for conscious thought entirely. Scientists call it the low road. Your visual cortex, the part that actually understands what it is looking at, takes roughly half a second to process an image. The low road does it in a fraction of that time. This is why you can scream and jump backward from a coiled shape in the grass before you consciously register that it is only a garden hose. Your body already decided you were in danger. Your mind is just catching up. Researchers scanning the brains of macaque monkeys found individual neurons inside a structure called the pulvinar that fires specifically and almost instantly at the sight of a snake shape, faster than they fire for anything else, faster even than for the face of another monkey. An entire cluster of brain cells exists for one job, finding this one shape before you even know you are looking at it. And this is not just true in monkeys. The same researcher who ran the spider and flower experiment, Arne Oman, tested people. He flashed images of snakes and spiders on a screen for 16 milliseconds, far too fast for the conscious mind to register anything at all, then instantly covered the image with a blank mask. The conscious brain never knew what it had seen. It didn't need to. The amygdala fired anyway, every time exactly as if the threat had sat there in plain view for a full second. Somewhere underneath your conscious awareness, something in you is always watching for this one specific category of shape, whether you ever notice it or not. So why does none of this apply to a car? A car can end your life in under a second, and it does over 1 million times a year. And yet you can sit in traffic scrolling through your phone with almost no fear response at all. The answer is almost insulting in how simple it is. Cars have existed for about 120 years. Evolution does not work in 120 years. It works across hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of years. And the fast, involuntary, half-second wiring that makes you flinch from a spider has had no time to build an equivalent circuit for a 2-ton machine moving at 70 miles an hour. Your amygdala has never met a car. As far as your oldest survival systems are concerned, cars do not exist. Any fear you have of driving had to be built the slow way, consciously, through statistics, near misses, a bad crash you witnessed once, a lecture from a driving instructor. It lives in the newer, slower parts of your brain, the parts that have to think their way into being afraid. And thinking your way into fear is a far weaker system than feeling your way into it in half a second flat. That is why you can know, factually, that a car is more dangerous than a spider, and still flinch at the spider and not the car. Knowing is not the same as feeling. Your amygdala was never built to listen to statistics. This is also why the fear will not simply switch off no matter how safe your living room actually is. There is no spider on your ceiling that has ever hurt you. There may never be one that could. It does not matter. The system running underneath your fear was not built for accuracy. It was built for speed, for a world where hesitating half a second to check whether something was really dangerous could get you killed. A false alarm cost you nothing but a startled heartbeat. A missed real threat cost you your life. So evolution chose the option that jumps first and checks later, every single time. And it left that choice running inside you, unchanged 60 million years later. You are not irrational for flinching at a spider on the wall while ignoring the far more dangerous car parked in your driveway. You are running a warning system built for a world that mostly no longer exists, aimed at a small handful of threats that mattered more than almost anything else, for longer than almost anything else has ever mattered. The shape in the grass, the movement in the leaves, that system is still switched on. It is still fast, and it is still, in its own way, trying to keep you alive.